Welcome everybody. Let's talk lighting today on TM3 Life. So a lot of you may not know, unless you own a Tesla of pretty much any kind, but the LED lights that they put throughout the interior and in the trunk are pretty dim, pretty low light. What I'm going to do is I'll take you around and I'll show you what that lighting actually looks like and how we should address that. Let's go take a look at the trunk. That's a great place to start. Okay, so now we have the trunk open. Can you even tell if there are lights on in there? Looks pretty dark to me. But there are indeed lights. Let's take a look. There's one on the right. And there's even a second on the left. Pretty pathetic for an LED. There is also a light on the bottom of each door, a puddle light, so that you can see when you step out of the car. Now, those are pretty pathetic too. You really won't be able to see any difference when I open the door in my garage. I have very good LED lighting in here, and well, it doesn't even look like there's lights on the bottom of the doors, but let's take a look anyway. Oh, copyright. Hopefully I caught that in time. Alright, here we go. Yeah, you probably can't see any lighting on the garage floor, and that's because these lights are pretty pathetic. But let's take a look at them anyway. There they are. Again, probably just as pathetic as the ones in the trunk. Each door has one of these. Now, there are still two left to discuss. Actually, technically three. One of them we can't change out. And we'll discuss that as well. But let's take a look at the other two that we can change. In the Model 3, we have floor lighting in the front. Just kind of a nice ambient lighting. Although you don't get to choose from 46 colors like a BMW. We just get white. Let's take a look on the inside and see how well they light the floor area. You might be able to see a dim yellowish glow on the floor mat, and if I apologize for the dirt, it's quite dirty. Again, another one of those pathetic LED lights. Let's take a look. There it is, folks. Yep. Again, I think it's the same light that they're using in every single one of these applications. To be honest with you, I think on the interior, this light is probably acceptable. But for puddle lights and trunk lights, absolutely not. So what do you do when you have a lighting issue like this and you want to address it? Well, our friends at Abstract Ocean have the answer. They have the same style of LED lights, but theirs are 16 times brighter. Let's take a look and see what we have and how we're going to replace them. But for this, we're going to need Jarvis's cooperation. Jarvis, can you open the trunk for us? Thanks. Now remember me telling you about that one light that we really just can't address? Yeah, well that's in the front, or the front trunk as us Tesla people call it. Let's take a look at it and you'll see why we can't change it out. Yep, there it is, folks. That dull yellow looking light. It is an LED. Again, really pathetic. But you'll also notice this. It's not just a light, and this is why we can't change it out. It's actually a button. Because this trunk is a certain size, the federal government requires that you have an emergency escape button in case someone were to get stuck in here like a small child. You can push this and hear that it actuates the electronic front. So there you go. Right now, as far as I know, they don't make a replacement for that. But let's look at what we bought from Abstract Ocean to solve our problem. We have some great stuff here. let me go through exactly what we have. So over here is a set of 4 LED bulbs, 16 times brighter than the ones Tesla puts in. We're going to be using these, 2 of these in the rear doors and 2 of these in the trunk. That should really help brighten things up. Now over here, you'll notice these are blue. What am I doing with these? These are for the footwell. I figured with a white interior, blue accent lighting would be nice. Again, we don't have 46 colors to choose from like BMW, but when you're on the Abstract Ocean site, they have quite a few colors. I believe purple, blue, red, and of course you can go white. So since we have the blue for the front, well, the rear doesn't have any lighting. And I think it'd be cool to have a blue glow throughout the entire car. So that's where these come in. Again, from our friends at Abstract Ocean. In the back, we have 2 USB chargers. And we can plug these right in, and these have LEDs built onto them right here. These 2 LEDs, and I chose blue to match the front. And they will light blue in the rear footwell of our Model 3. So that'll take care of all the interior lighting of our Model 3. Now remember I said 2 of these will go in the rear doors and 2 of these will go in the trunk. What about the front doors? Right here. I went ahead and I purchased special projector LEDs. Now projector LEDs project usually a symbol of some sort down on the ground. So it not only does it offer lighting, but it gives you a really cool effect. So these particular LEDs, you'll notice how much thicker they are. It's because they have the projection system inside of them. They project the Tesla T. That should look really cool opening our door in the middle of the night in a parking lot. I'm just seeing we have a total of 10 lights we're putting in the car. 2 we're adding and 8 that we're actually just replacing. How are we going to remove them? Well, that's what this tool is for that was sitting in the front. This is the trim removal tool. It's made of plastic and it's bendable and it's very sharp at the point. This will make it very easy for us to pop those lights out, unplug them, and plug in the new ones. It should be a fairly simple process. Let's get started. All right, guys, let's start in the trunk. That's pretty pathetic. I'd like to be able to see in there a whole lot better. Let's see what we have to do to get this done. Not sure how well you can see me, but hopefully you'll be able to see me a whole lot better soon. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this light out and we'll pop in this new light right here. That took a lot more force than I thought it was gonna take. But let's go ahead and unplug this light and put the new one back in. Now when you pull the plug out, make sure you don't let go of it. You don't want to lose it back up in the trunk. Now we're going to plug in our new light. Wow, that's already so much brighter. All we got to do now is stick it back up inside. Now one thing I've noticed is that there's actually a little black piece of plastic up in there. That's actually what this light clips into, so we're going to have to try to hold that in place when we snap it back in there. That could prove difficult. Whew. Okay, the trunk is done, but man, that was a lot more work than I think people realize. And I think one of the main reasons why that is because when you pull those lights out, like I mentioned, there's actually a little black piece of rectangular plastic. So they don't just clip into the carpeted felt cardboard of the trunk. There's actually these little rectangular black triangles that gotta snap down over the lights on the inside. I had to remove the top black trunk plastic in order to pull the carpet away to snap those black rectangles over the top. And it was challenging. Not getting the trunk piece off, but just snapping those little rectangles over. But let's take a look at the results. Let's take a look. You might not be able to notice with the camera, but you can see the brightness over on that side. You can see the brightness over on that side. Let's take a look inside. Much brighter lights in here. Much, much brighter. But I had to remove this entire panel. There's a black panel underneath it that goes the whole length of the trunk right here, and I had to remove that. It's just a couple clips, but getting it back in was a little challenging. Had to fiddle with it a bit. But trunk's done. Let's move on to the doors. All right, now remember, we're just gonna put the regular clear ones on the rear. The front's where we're gonna put the projection ones in. So let's take a look at how that goes. Okay, so we're gonna take our pry tool, we're gonna get right up in here, and we're gonna pry this light out. Being real careful not to damage anything. We don't wanna gouge the door, and we don't wanna break the light. There we go. There we go. And again, there's very little wire, so when you pull the wire out of this light, be very careful that you don't lose the wire up in the door. And when you pull this light out, you're going to lose power to the door, which is probably going to push that window right back up into position. And indeed, we did lose power to the door. Let's quickly plug our new light in so we don't lose this wire and plug. All right. We'll stick this back in the door. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and install the projection puddle light LEDs in the front doors. Once I'm done, we'll open up the door and we'll see what it looks like. Now, even though these projection lights are still brighter than the originals, my garage is too bright for you to see it. But what we can do is turn the lights out and open the door, and you should be able to see it then. All right, let's check out the new lights. Here's the driver door. That is very cool. What do you guys think? I really like it. Next up, let's change out these dull, plain white interior lights for the footwell. Boy, those are boring. All right, let's get to work. All right, let's go ahead and pop this out. Be careful not to scuff the dash, but do know that these are gonna come out really hard because this is hard plastic here. All right. Let's swap in our blue. See what that looks like. That is very cool. Push the wiring back up in there, secure the light, and we should be in really good shape. Okay, last thing we have in our trunk of goodies. That's right. The USB lights that go in the rear two USB outlets. And each one of those has two blue LEDs to help light the floor in the rear as well, and it'll match the front. Let's go ahead and install those. Now these by far should be the easiest to install. I mean, after all, we're just plugging them into the USB. Let's give it a shot. There's one. And there's two. And these change color. I can change it to any color I want. Of course I want blue to match the front. Now I don't want them pulsating, so I do have to change it. And apparently it says on here, to toggle between solid and pulsing light, I just have to double tap the button. And there we go. I've turned the brightness all the way up, and they're solid blue. Let's go ahead and take a tour of our new blue Model 3 interior. But before we do that, let's go to Snapple Facts. Hello everybody, welcome back to Snapple Facts. Snapple fact number 1. Alaska has more caribou than people. That's a fact that I can believe. I have a friend who actually is a professor in Alaska. Tim, hello to you if you're watching my YouTube channel. And I've known some people that have lived in Alaska and then moved to Alaska and then moved back. So I can definitely believe that. It's definitely a place I'd like to visit. I don't think it's a place I'd like to live. Snapple fact number 2. Slugs have 4 noses. Okay. Better to smell you with, I suppose. I don't know. But again, your Snapple fact for the day. I hope you all learned something. Stay tuned for the next Snapple facts. Welcome back. Are you ready to take the tour? I'm going to turn off the light first so we can really get a good idea of what it looks like at night. Okay, there's the front. Now let's sneak on back to the rear. That looks very cool. And you can see the passenger side as well. Have that really cool blue glow on the rear. And that really cool blue glow in the front. It's not too bright. I think it's just right, and it goes really well with the white interior. Okay, thanks for coming along as we change our lights. Now we make our way back to the rear of the car. Well, you know what I'm gonna say. As always, let's keep those batteries charged.